Well, thank you so much for talking with me and continuing this conversation. Um, uh, since we last spoke, the overall world of AI and LLMs has gotten more complex, and it seems to get almost more complex every day. Um, there are huge differences between, output generated, whether it's an image, text, code generation, open source, proprietary, different architectural models, services versus a model. How does kind of one make sense of all of this and navigate through this increasing complexity of different LLMs and different models and different purposes that are out there? That's like my opening question.
So it's difficult. So the research threads that we maintain try and keep track of all of this. And we've almost given up trying to do this from a primary perspective. So we subscribe to probably 24 content aggregation services that focus on, that mostly do pretty good primary survey of what's going on in the field. And then we cherry pick amongst what we see. I mean, one of the nice things about the edge AI that's emerged over the last year is that I can run a lot of this locally. Right?
Yeah,
Sitting behind me is a couple of workstations with two GPUs each in them that let me run a fairly big model. We can run up to about 70 billion parameter models in-house. So I can collect all of this stuff, run it through the models, and ask them what the common themes seem to be.
let me just stop you for a second because I want to underscore this point because I think that for many people, they're unaware of how astounding that is and the speed of time that has elapsed to get to this point. If we were to take what you just said, running a parameter with 70 billion, basically 70 billion parameters, run a query. If we go back 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years ago, what would that have looked like?
It would have looked like a data center.
Yeah. And
Our ability,
and how much time would it have taken to kind of run through all those queries? 70 billion.
so depending on how good your parallel programming skills were, it could have been quite fast, minutes to hours to days, but it would have been running on millions to tens of millions of dollars of compute. It would be
Yeah,
equivalent to, just to run a query would have been equivalent to what it takes to run a training session today.
got it.
And it continues to get edgier in the sense that there's some things now that I can run on my phone.